Horror Month, day number 4. We're talking about The Final Destination, aka Final Destination 4. Let's get right into this bitch. So, The Final Destination revolves around a kid named Nick who had a premonition about a disaster, and he gets his group of friends out of the disaster. They cheat death, and they all start dying one by one. It sounds familiar. I know. Bear with me here. So, we meet this guy named Nick, and they're at this race event thing with a bunch of race cars. It's kind of like a generic version of NASCAR, it looks like. And, he sees this accident happen. One of the cars crashed, and it caused this big disaster at the racetrack. And so, he sees the premonition. He gets a bunch of people out of there. The disaster happens, and these survivors start dying one by one. Now, what I think of The Final Destination is, it's okay. It is. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. This movie does get shitted on a lot. And I'll admit, the first time I saw this movie, when it was out, back when it was out in theaters, yeah, that's right, I fucking hated this movie with a fiery passion. But the more and more I watch it, it's actually not as bad as the first time I saw it. It's not great. But it's not horrible either. Like, I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Let's talk about it a little bit. So we got Bobby Campo, who was just in the Scream MTV series as the teacher, Seth Branson. The whole season I kept calling him Mr. Final Destination. So, yeah, I don't know. But Bobby Campo is in here as Nick. He's our main guy. He's the one who had the premonition in the first place. And what I think of him is he's not that great of an actor right here. Honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this right now, he acted better in the Scream TV series. Like, I liked him in the Scream TV series. He was one of the only few things I did like about the first season of Scream. And this movie, though, he's not all that great of an actor. He's not. Then we have his girlfriend, and she's not that good either. Like, she's bad. And you got your typical douchebag, and then you got the best friend of his girlfriend or whatever. The acting is not great in this movie at all. It's not. It's definitely probably the worst acted one of the bunch. But let's talk about the kills. Because there are a couple kills, not very many, but there's a couple that are pretty cool. Like, there's this one involving a tow truck, and I think that one's pretty cool. But other than that, that's about the only death that's really good in this movie. The other deaths in this movie aren't really that memorable. You got this one involving a pool. That could have been really cool, but it just wasn't. The car wash isn't technically a death, I guess. But, yeah, you have this one in a hospital, which, again, should have been really cool, but it wasn't all that great. The deaths in this one aren't that good. I will say, though, there is the climax of the movie, without kind of spoiling anything. I'm just going to kind of mention what it involves. It involves a mall, a movie theater, and an escalator. That whole climax of the movie, I think, and I'm going to go on record and say, that stuff is fucking badass. Like, it is. It is the highlight of the movie for sure. Problem is, it's the climax of the movie. If the whole movie would have been like that, this movie would have been awesome. But, like I said, I don't think it's horrible. It's just the acting's bad. The kills, for the most part, aren't that great. The highlight of the movie is the climax. Yeah, it's not that good. But I don't hate it as much as I used to. Like, I can sit and watch this one and just have an okay time with it. But it's definitely not as enjoyable as, say, number 1 or number 3 or whatever. And some people would argue 2, but I already reviewed 2, so go back and watch my Final Destination 2 review to find out how I feel about that one. But The Final Destination since I'm going to be talking like this was supposed to be the last one, because at the time, I guess that was the plan. Would this have been a good ending to the series? No. This would have been a shitty ending to the series, to be honest with you. The Final Destination is not that good. I kind of already mentioned this before. There's really not much else I can say about it. Yeah. So, guys, what do you guys think? A short review, I know, but it's not good. If you do like the Final Destination movies, I would recommend it. I would recommend you guys giving it a shot, cause I love you and I want to torture you guys with some bad movies once in a while. And plus, all the movies I'm reviewing are going to be great. I do enjoy most of them that I'll be reviewing this year, so there's not going to be too many rants this year. Sorry, but. And I guess this one will probably be listed as a rant, even though I'm not really ranting on this one. It's more of a disappointment factor to it. It's not like I'm so pissed off at this movie. Like I said, I don't hate it as much as I used to, but you know, what the fuck ever. So yeah, The Final Destination. Overall, this movie is going to get a solid D. Yeah, that's right. This one doesn't get a B. It gets a solid D. It does have a couple redeeming qualities about it. Like I said, the climax involving the escalator in the movie theater, that shit's actually badass. Like, I would just put The Final Destination in just to watch that part. The tow truck kill was actually pretty decent for the most part, but that could have been a lot better too. The acting in this movie is pretty bad for the most part. Kills aren't that memorable. Yeah, there's really just not much to this one, and if this would have been the last one, but obviously it's not. It's The Final Destination, but it's not. You could have just went back and called it Final Destination 4. But The Final Destination would have been a shitty ending, so thank God we got one more to talk about. All in all, like I said, The Final Destination is getting a solid D. What do you guys think of it? Like the video, comment, and subscribe. Just do it!